welcome to the faculty-led Study Abroad Virtual Fair. We are the Study Abroad Advisors. This is the advisor session. Before we get started, I just want to note that we have lots of information on our virtual fair website, so feel free to check that out at studyabroad.usu.edu, and we can also drop the link in the chat. You can also search for programs, start your application, and schedule an appointment with one of us through the website. And I am Katie Davidson. I am the Senior Study Abroad Advisor in the Office of Global Engagement. I studied abroad twice in undergrad. I double majored with studio art and German. And so I did an art program in Italy. It was in Rome for 10 days, Florence for 20. It was a super cool, artist journal class. We would take our sketchbooks and our drawing and painting supplies and just set up at a new spot every day outside in Rome and Florence. So it was a really cool program. And that was for 5 weeks. And then I also double majored with German, and I spent a semester in Regensburg, Germany, in southern Germany. I lived with a host family, had a really wonderful experience. If my host family spoke English, they did not let me know about it. So it was a really great immersive language experience. And I went from translating between German and English to being able to think in German by the time I left.
Hi, my name is Emma Wright. So I'm the advisor for primarily faculty-led programs, direct programs, and independent programs. And I've been working here as a study abroad advisor for about 4 years now. I am a USU alumni. I graduated in 2017, but during my time abroad, during my undergrad, I did a semester abroad in Japan, in Hinakata City, at Kansai Gaida University. I was a liberal arts major with minors in philosophy and linguistics. Going to Japan had always been kind of a lifelong dream. You can see from my poster. So it was a really life-changing experience. I had a grand time. You can see there I was able to pet the deer in Nara. An interesting fact is that the deer in Nara are actually a protected national treasure of Japan. And you can buy special crackers for the deer, and yes, it's an interesting experience. Yeah, so I stayed in a dorm and made a lot of really good friends from all over the world. And I, as Katie mentioned with the language learning, just being immersed in the country where you're trying to learn the language is just so amazing for your language skills. I think I learned probably a year's worth in that semester time, and was able to learn a lot of the stuff you don't learn in class, like slang and how to chat casually with people your own age. And it was just a really, really fantastic experience. And I'm still in very close contact with my close friends from the program. It was just a good time all around.
All right, and then we also have our peer advisor. She unfortunately was not able to join us today, but if you'd like to meet with her, you can also set up an appointment with her. Lauren Ambule is our peer advisor this year, and she did a semester exchange at the University of Armenia. All right. So study abroad, for those who may not be aware, study abroad is basically an opportunity to go take classes taught in another country and earn credits towards your degree program here at Utah State University. Any major can take courses abroad, and we have programs that are over spring break, in the summer for lots of different variations of time, semester and year-long programs as well. So lots of different options there. And then we have 3 different types of programs. So today's fair is all about our faculty-led programs, and those are where USU faculty take students abroad, typically between 10 days and 8 weeks long, oftentimes in the summer, sometimes over spring break as well. And then we also have student teaching abroad the second half of each fall and spring semester. Those are based on USU tuition. They are our most popular short-term programs. There are always lots of options, and they vary every year because it just depends on what faculty propose for that year. There's always language learning opportunities. There are always opportunities to get gen ed classes. And then there are some other specifics as well that could potentially be in your major or another area of interest. We also have exchange programs. With an exchange, essentially, A USU student pays tuition fees here, a student abroad pays tuition fees there, and then you're swapping places for a semester or an academic year. Those are our most popular long-term programs. And then we also have what we call direct programs. So with those are outside organizations we work with. They offer a wide variety of programming, sometimes very niche programming. So lots of options there as well. We did have an exchange and direct fair earlier this year, and recordings for those programs are up on our website as well if you're interested in checking those out. And then in addition to study abroad, we also have service learning and internship abroad opportunities as well. And now we have this short little video. Maybe. Yes. Right.
Okay, so one of our #1 questions is, where can I go? We actually have programs on pretty much every continent except Antarctica, obviously. But we have over 150 universities in over 85 countries. So there are a lot of options to choose from. And our website, again, is a great resource for searching. You can search by country or specific cities, or you can just search by region. If you're just like, I just want to see South America, you can search for that. And then frequently asked questions. So our second most asked question is probably, how much does it cost? So our exchange and faculty-led programs are based on USU tuition and fees, as Katie explained with the exchanges. It's based on cost for like a full semester. And with faculty-led, the tuition is based on how many credits you're getting. So if it's a 2-credit program, you're paying tuition for 2 credits. If it's 6 credits, pay for 6 credits, etc. Something important to note with the summer faculty-led programs is that everybody pays in-state tuition for summer. So if you are an out-of-state student looking to get some cheap credits, this is a good way to do that. And then if you're just doing the study abroad and you're not taking any other summer courses, you just pay flat tuition. You don't pay student body fees. So that's also a nice perk. Another question that we get is like, oh, I probably have to be fluent in another language, right? This is not true, especially for our faculty-led programs, unless you're going on a language program. But we have lots and lots of programs that offer courses in English. We have options where you could go and take like a full semester abroad with your courses in English, even if English is not the main language of the country you are in. We also have programs that have kind of a mix. So when I studied abroad in Japan, most of my classes were taught in English, and then I had a couple of classes in Japanese. So you're welcome to do a mix like that. And then also if you do speak another language, or you're working on a language, or you want to start learning one, we do have programs that focus just on language learning. So in the context of our faculty-led programs, they're all taught in English, aside from our language programs. And this summer we have a French language program, a Portuguese language program, and a Spanish language program that will be going. And those are all roughly about a month long. And I think they're all 4 to 6 credits. So no, you do not have to be fluent in another language. Another really important question is whether or not it will delay your graduation. Will you earn credit? Those sorts of questions. So for any program listed on the USU Study Abroad website, you will earn credit. And the credit amount for all of our faculty-led programs is clearly marked out. And then if it's a semester-length program, it should be at least 12 credits, if not more. So we really encourage students to look closely at programs and reach out to us about if they have questions about whether or not they could go on a program. Most of our programs are open to students in every major, but we do really encourage students to look closely at programs to make sure that the program they're interested in fits their academic needs, as well as like their personal goals or just their personal like travel plans. And our goal is not to delay your graduation. We really want you to stay on track academically, which is why we definitely encourage you to pick academically beneficial programs. And then also another important component is working with your academic advisor, just letting them know that you want to study abroad so they can sort of help you come up with some study plans, and just plans for staying on track for graduation. As Katie mentioned, you can earn major credit, minor credit, gen eds, electives, a mix of all of those. So basically, you can choose a program that works best for you and tailor it to whatever you need. Then I already talked about, can a major study abroad? Yes, it's open to everybody. Even if you're undeclared, you are totally welcome to study abroad. That's often a good way to figure out if you like what you're studying, or if you just don't know and it sounds interesting. That's a good way to figure out if you like it. And then the most common question we're getting right now is, what's going on with COVID? Can I still study abroad? So we are recruiting for programs starting in summer 2021 and beyond. We're very, very optimistic that study abroad will be able to happen in this coming year. We are, we're making sure that we're staying on top of the situation worldwide. And USU's administration, of course, is very interested in protecting students and making sure everybody's safe. But the short answer is yes. We're hopeful that you can still study abroad, even with everything that's going on right now with the pandemic. Yeah, if you've applied for a program or anything, we can definitely work with you if we need to cancel, but we're hopeful that this will happen.
All right, so benefits of study abroad. There are lots of different benefits, and we often categorize them into personal, academic, and professional categories. But we'll go through a few of them here and talk about like also personal benefits that we saw from our programs and whatnot. So immersing yourself in a new culture, that's a big one, getting out of the bubble that you grew up in. And that you're used to, gaining a new cultural lens, ideas, and perspectives. I think for some students, studying abroad can really solidify what you're studying and like, yes, this is the right track for me. For other students, it might open up another idea or perspective of like, oh, well, what about this? I hadn't thought about that before. And it might kind of change your route a little bit. Learning or increasing language skills. Both Emma and I did that on our programs abroad. Personal development. I was a painfully shy child growing up, and study abroad made a world of difference for me. It really helped me get out of my shell, out of my comfort zone, become more independent, confident, assertive, all those kinds of things. Educational, personal, and career goals. There are lots of goals that students have for study abroad, and lots of cool things that can be accomplished in a study abroad program. Certainly enhances your resume, and definitely put it on your resume if you go on a study abroad. So, my employers are looking for employees that have those cultural competency skills that can easily be gained from a study abroad experience. So my guess is if an employer has two resumes in front of them that are fairly similar, one has that international experience and one does not, most likely that person with the international experience is going to get the interview. Building self-confidence and awareness. Mentioned self-confidence already. Definitely awareness of oneself, awareness of others. And along with that, I would also say like intrigue. Like I felt like when I studied abroad, I learned a lot about where I went, and then I realized like how much I didn't really know about my home country, and became really interested to learn more about the U.S. and have lived in different areas. And that decision has greatly positively influenced many other decisions that I've made so far throughout my life. And then increasing ability to handle uncertainty. Also, the pandemic is also helping us with that skill. Certainly does that. And then making lifelong friends and connections. One of my best friends I met on study abroad in 2006, and we are still really great friends today. So And I still keep in touch with my host family that I lived with, I don't know, 12 or 13 years ago. It's really cool connections that you can make on a study abroad program. Emma, do you want to chime in with anything else there?
Yeah, just everything that Katie said. These are some of the like most common things that we hear from students when they come back is just like the immediate thing that most students notice is the boost in self-confidence. And even if you don't feel like you need that, if you're still a pretty confident person, it is pretty amazing because when you figure out travel plans and you're like, I am halfway around the world right now, it's really an amazing sensation to be able to realize that you can function outside of your comfort zone. And another thing is just it really helps you to see that people are kind of alike all over, whether that's in good or bad ways. It is a really great way to realize like, wow, you know, people aren't actually all that different. So making connections is really, really a cool part of study abroad. I could go on forever about that, but okay, so financial aid, study abroad scholarships. So the really cool thing about study abroad and financial aid is that 9 times out of 10, you can apply any financial aid that you have or scholarships to your study abroad. Study abroad is happy to accept any kind of funding that you have. So it's really, really common for students to use like FAFSA funding or private loans, Pell Grant, you know, USU scholarships like the presidential or like the legacy or the dean scholarship or any other kind of scholarships. It's really common for our students to use those. So if you have questions about that, we really recommend that you talk to either financial aid or the scholarship office or both, whichever applies to you. When I studied abroad, I used my FAFSA funding and a Pell Grant towards study abroad, and it was easy. It wasn't difficult, and that really helped me be able to afford my study abroad program. And then scholarships. Our office does offer some scholarships. So for our exchange programs, we do have like a standing scholarship for all of our exchange programs. And then depending on the summer and the types of faculty-led programs we may have scholarships for those as well. Not for all of them, but for some of them. We do have our study abroad scholarship page linked there. And I can also drop that in the chat at the end, or Katie can put it in the chat. There's lots of USU funding kind of floating around depending on like your major and your college. Never mind, Katie, I'll put it in the chat later. We do have like some resources that we know about, but always check with your college and your department to see if they have any study abroad specific funding available. And then if you end up going on a direct program, or a third-party program, oftentimes those providers such as ISA, CIEE, they will have their own scholarships for the program. So don't be afraid to ask if you have questions about scholarships, financial aid. And then lastly, the US government does have some really cool scholarships that they offer for study abroad, such as the Gilman or the Boren. And Katie and I do workshops throughout the year for those scholarships. Again, if you have questions, reach out to us.
All right, so you're probably thinking, awesome, how can I do this, right? So it's really helpful to plan in advance. One thing we suggest doing is meeting with your academic advisor as early as possible. Let them know that you want to go on a study abroad and talk to them about when might be a good time for you to go in your degree plan. And another great thing to discuss with them are classes. So are there certain classes that you're going to have to take here at Utah State University? Are there certain classes that might be good or helpful to set aside for a study abroad? We do have a recommended GPA, and it varies depending on the program. It could be 2.5, 2.75, or 3.0. We also have a low GPA process. So if you find yourself in a position where your GPA has dropped below the recommended GPA, still come talk to us, still apply. You know, we realize that there are life events that affect our grades and such. So we take all those things into consideration. And then depending on your program, you'll either be asked for 1 or 2 references, and we want at least one of those to be academic. So a professor that you've had in class before. The other one could also be a professor or could be an advisor, supervisor, that kind of thing. Typically, it's one for a short-term or summer program or two for a year or semester program. And then we have a time requirement. So we want students to do 2 semesters at USU before they go on a study abroad. If you're a transfer student, then we want you to do 1 semester at USU before you go on a study abroad.
Okay, so how to apply. Studyabroad.usu.edu is our website, and this is where you can apply for all of our programs. So as I mentioned early on, you can search by many, many different fields. So area of study, or major, country, region, language of instruction, city. There's a lot of things that you can plug in and search for. So we really recommend just getting on our website and kind of playing with the search function to pull up some programs. And then if you're having trouble or you just can't find something, definitely reach out. We're happy to help because we are very, very familiar with the search function and can find things sometimes that are just like hidden away. So, and then it looks like we have another short video.
When the world opens up again, we're looking forward to walking the grounds of the Taj Mahal, diving with the fishes in the Great Barrier Reef, playing a pickup game of football with the locals, exchanging cultural traditions, walking through history in the streets of London. We are planning for possibilities to study abroad as global Aggies.
All right, and then our contact information. We're located in the Military Science Building on campus. Many of us are also working from home right now, and we can, regardless of if we're on campus or not, we can be reached over the phone or through Zoom or through email. And we're definitely taking appointments. We're happy to meet with students and discuss plans and your goals for study abroad. You can email us at studyabroad@usu.edu. You can also call us at the number listed there, and then also check out the website. Are there any questions? Are there any study abroads to China this summer? Emma, do we have any faculty led to China?
We don't have any faculty-led programs to China. We do have one going to Taiwan for agriculture and cultural exploration. I know it's not the same thing, but it's getting you closer. I don't know, we might have some direct programs that are open. Let me dig around and see if I can find any.
And then there's some of our partners, I know particularly in Taiwan, they often have summer programming if you would also be interested in Taiwan, or if you're interested in China specifically, then yeah, I think there would be some direct options.
Yeah, there might be a few. It looks like, so this one is not going this summer, but it looks like our partner CIE may have a few programs and possibly ISA. Although I'm trying to remember who has let us know that they've canceled programs. I believe the Shanghai program through CIE will be open, but I'm not 100%. But this is the CIE brochure. They've got a tiny bit of info. I would say just click through to CIE's website. Okay, it looks like this program has been suspended. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I would say just kind of look through our list and see if any of these are being offered. Yeah, it's possible that China may just be off the board right now, just depending on the whole COVID situation there. So.
All right, well, if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you for joining today.
And yeah, of course, always reach out if you have questions. Thank you.